this is all about bringing women back to the yin, because if you're in hospo, you're pushing and you are like having to be motivated all the time, and you're like churning out meals and you're providing amazing service and protecting your brand presence and that sort of thing. So we're going to come back to the yin of comforting, soothing, and, you know, really validating the feminine within.
We are celebrating and talking to women in hospitality on Dirty Linen at the moment, and it gives me enormous pleasure and excitement, because I don't exactly know what's going to happen, to bring Merryn Padgett into the conversation. I've been in touch with Merryn quite a bit over the last year. I think the pandemic, you know, for whatever else it's done, it's certainly brought many of us into contact with new people for really rich and important conversations. Merryn owns a pizza joint in Bairnsdale in East Gippsland in Victoria. It's called Earth and Soul Pizza, but she does so much else besides, including running the Gut Mind Collective, which she can tell us more about. Merryn, welcome to Dirty Linen.
Hello, Dani. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's actually super exciting in so many ways to have you on the show, but I know that you're a keen listener of Dirty Linen, so I just want to thank you for listening on your walks over the past, I don't know how many months it's been.
It's an honour. It's great that you're airing these stories, and I found myself nodding so much throughout the time.
Well, I'm sure people are going to have nods and all kinds of gestures while we're listening to your conversation. But I'd love you to talk first about your hospitality side of things. So Can you tell us a bit about Earth and Soul Pizza? And I suppose, I mean, goodness me, like Bairnsdale and East Gippsland, it's been, you know, the fires tumbled into the pandemic. I mean, what's it been like for you this period?
Yeah, so like Earth and Soul is a humble pizza joint. You know, we take beautiful local ingredients and produce the best possible pizza you can imagine in a really fast-paced, fast food environment. It is high volume. So that's that side of things. It's been intense these last 12 months. The bushfires and then COVID were just a crazy time. And add to this the fact that I actually live with anxiety. So, yeah, it was definitely a time of me needing extra self-care and just to up that dose of walking and meditation. And it did slip off a bit. But I love the quote by Joseph Goldstein, "You can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf." And I think that's quite fitting for 2020 and life in general.
Definitely. I love that quote too. I hadn't heard that before, but definitely, I guess, it gives you permission to be a little bit buffeted by the things that life throws at you, but also to look for strategies to deal with it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, like, because even though I've been given the label of anxiety, you know, after the birth of my first child, so that was like 14 years ago, I treat it naturally now. I'm not medicated. I was, but I definitely in the last 5 years have developed like meditation as a practice, and it's really helped allow those waves of life to, you know, just kind of the witness and accept notion is definitely something that I've learnt. But it still didn't mean that I didn't freak out when the bushfires were happening. Thank gosh I live in Paynesville, which was yellow zone for the whole time. But, you know, it still didn't mean that the anxiety was still there. And then COVID hit. We were just getting back on our feet. And it was just a crazy time. And you have covered in great depth the staffing challenges that the industry have gone through. And obviously, hospo, you work long days, but then I got a bit of burnout towards the end of last year. And, yeah, it really kind of hit me, I think. So that's where self-care is so necessary.
You said you've been given the label anxiety. Is that it sounds like something you've sort of resisted in a way, or that's been imposed on you? Do you feel like that sort of flattens your experience or doesn't quite, I don't know, give it the human perspective that it needs?
Yeah, I like to look at it as a label. You've got the DSM-5, the Diagnostic Statistic Manual 5, with so many labels in there, and I do see them as labels because even though I'm a human being having a human experience, but I'm kind of the sum of my experiences as well. And I have just felt that it's allowed me to de-identify with that. Yes, it's been a part of my life, but I don't choose to really go into it all the time. Like, I don't choose to use it as an excuse for something. It's like, okay, this feeling is present within me, but if I can just breathe and if I can just recognize that feeling and honour it and acknowledge it, I know that it will pass. And by going outside your comfort zone, that then allows a process of normalisation, I guess. And I'm, much more stable than I was postnatal. So I was doing a lot of spiritual work around the time of having my first child. So yeah, I think there was a lot going on at that time that led to the diagnosis.
Interesting. I mean, yeah, having a child is so life-changing. I mean, it's a really banal thing to say, but I mean, it just is.
Yeah.
So I suppose if you're, it does bring a lot of stuff up for people, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah, it does. But I think, as an adult, you can just deal with it a lot easier. Not easier, I shouldn't use that word. You can just deal with it when you're ready at the right time, more so than as a child or a teenager. So, yeah.
And so you've obviously got many different aspects to your life. So can you talk about the Gut Mind Collective and where that fits in?
Yeah, sure. So, Earth and Soul has always been a 5-year plan. We're coming up 3 years this year, and I studied holistic counselling back when I was pregnant with my first child and didn't really do much with it. Also did my Reiki mastership when I was pregnant with my first child, hence the bit of spiritual crisis after the birth and then being, medicated for a bit. But the Gut Mind Collective has been born from a desire to help women look at their life and look at what nourishes them in their life, both on and off the plate. And then there's a notion of primary foods in your life, like things that aren't actually edible, that nourish you. So there's 12 pieces of the pie, and then with 4 main quadrants being relationships, physical activity, work and career, and spirituality. And through the program that we've developed, the Breathe program, we dive deep into those elements, plus nutrition. So there's a whole week that we look at nutrition and support people, the participants in their journey with nutrition. And it's helping people reset patterns and habits through mindset training, because it's really important to look at that underlying the pattern of behaviour that comes into, like, emotional eating or even the need to forgive and accept what's going on in life. So, yeah, that's a little bit about the Gut Mind Collective.
And is it something that happens online, or do you meet? I mean, obviously meeting hasn't been that easy, but in a non-COVID world, is it like a in-person scenario?
Presently, it is a complete online scenario. So there's elements that are in person. The program that we've developed is a 6-week program which is delivered online. We've got online coaching calls, etc. But we also support the participants locally if we have that direct connection with them through walks and things like that. So, for example, I'd meet up on a weekly basis with one of the participants and we'd go for a walk and just, chat about life and how they're going in the program. So you've got that in-person, in-nature connection going on as well.
I love it. And I don't know, I'd love it. I love the connection with pizza for some reason. I know these are very separate parts of your life, but I just feel like, so often, well, I don't want to generalize, but I feel like often some of these holistic programs such as yours, pizza, like a life that enjoys pizza might not be part of it, but I just feel like the fact that you run a pizza shop as well means that you're very inclusive and that people have permission to be themselves, even if they, perhaps like myself, might enjoy eating a pizza quite often.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we're all for what we call the 80-20 protocol. You eat whole foods 80% of the time, and then you've got 20% of leeway. I'm probably 95/5. I'm pretty strict because I do have a bit of an addictive personality. So I quit alcohol for the last time 6 years ago or so, and because it just doesn't serve my body very well at all. Something I identified, during my self-care inquiry time.
Mm-hmm.
And then a couple of years ago, I still had a crazy sugar addiction. And when we opened the pizza shop, I had quit coffee 6 months prior to. The irony of a barista who doesn't drink coffee. But I was feeling flailing in energy and so tired because I was normalising to hospo hours again. Oh, my gosh, it was just like I'd been hit by a truck.
Wow.
And I was ready to drink coffee again. And then I discovered that probably eliminating gluten would be a good idea as well. So I did that because I was eating so much pizza and so much pasta, feeling bloated, stodgy, really crap in the morning. And then my friend, who's a co-founder of the collective, suggested that I maybe do a bit of a health reboot. And I'm like, how am I going to quit sugar? I love chocolate. I love ice cream. I've got so much gelato on tap at the pizza shop. How am I going to do this, honestly? And I managed to get through it with the support and accountability of my friend, which is key. And that's what we bring to the Gut Mind Collective. And that's what we've identified. And people really need that help. But yeah, we know that, you're not perfect and this person who's going to 100% lead that lifestyle. I go to my favourite restaurants, Sardine and Long Paddock in East Gippsland, and that's a treat. The other day, had a beautiful pie at Long Paddock and the beautiful quince brownie tart. I mean, the pastry there is amazing. I felt crazy the next day. I had brain fog and headache, but it was worth it. I know that, if I'm going to do this, I enjoy it, I savour that moment, and then, there may be effects the next day, but hey, it's worth it.
I love those two places you just mentioned. Long Paddock in Lindenow and Sardine in Paynesville, just two incredible East Gippsland food destinations. So, I almost would drive whatever it is, the 3 hours for that quince brownie as soon as you say those words. So, Merryn, I'm a committed coffee drinker, wine drinker, pizza eater, sugar lover, but I still love what you're all about. And what I would love for you to do is to lead us in one of your meditations.
Yeah.
And I guess, when we were planning this, we thought let's have a particular focus on women in hospitality, and just, give us some of what we need.
Absolutely. I think there's so much, as we've spoken about, you've spoken over the last week about the yang dynamic. So this is all about bringing women back to the yin, because if you're in hospo, you're pushing and you are having to be motivated all the time, and you're churning out meals, and you're providing amazing service and protecting your brand presence and that sort of thing. So we're going to come back to the yin of comforting, soothing, and really validating the feminine within. The meditation is called Aligning with Your Light. and it gathers all that beautiful energy from Mother Earth and all the infinite possibilities of manifestation that surrounds you. And then you'll bring this deep energy into your heart and strengthen your connection with your inner guidance. So to begin, we're going to call on the support of a higher presence, whatever you believe in, to help you bring you into balance. So dear God or Source or the universe or your inner guidance, I am true, pure, generous radiance, streaming outward, always expanding. I seek to know more deeply in every moment that I am light. I am made of light. I am surrounded by light. I am light, and it is so. With deepest thanks. So get comfortable, either on a cushion on the floor or in a chair, and have your spine straight yet relaxed. I invite you to feel the connection that your body has with the earth, and your hands can rest gently in your lap. If you're in a chair, your feet are positioned flat on the ground, hip width apart. And just center yourself by taking a deep breath in through the nose for 4 counts and pausing for 1 count. And then exhaling through your mouth for 4 counts and pausing at the base of the breath for 1 count. And we'll do this for 2 more rounds. And imagine that the higher presence that you invoked is streaming golden light, pink light, and translucent white light all over your body. This light is filling your entire being with healing life force energy, love, and radiant joy. The light is expanding to double the size of your body and radiating out to the world. Your brilliance flows everywhere because you are perfect in every way, just as you are. This light gently contracts to the size of a ball, which you can hold in your hand. You invite the light into your heart and feel the warmth, comfort, and radiance of your own love. Now the light descends down your body, down through the earth until it reaches the center of Mother Earth and connects to a giant pink crystal. The crystal and Mother Earth's energy fills your ball of light with an infinite amount of light. It's so bright, it's almost neon. It's luminous and full of grounding, healing energy from the earth. Now the ball of light gently travels back up through the earth's surface, back up to your body, and travels up into your heart, where it places all of that healing energy it collected from the crystal at the center of the earth. Breathe that energy into your heart. And now the ball travels up your body, through your crown chakra to the top of your head, up to the center of the sky, where it connects with the sun, moon, and another luminous white healing crystal. Feel the energy and radiance of the sun and moon amplify the energy of your ball until it fills the entire sky with love and gratitude. The ball now descends back through the sky, down to your body, traveling gently back down to your heart, where it expands to fill your entire being, bringing all the positive radiance of the earth, sky, sun, and moon into your heart. Be still and bask in this light, breathing it into your heart and feel the love of your heart by placing both hands over it. Allow the energy of your heart to fill your hands with warmth and light. And now it's time for your inner guidance to whisper a message to you. Affirm to yourself, I trust the process of life. And allow the message to unfold with ease. If your inner guidance is quiet, that is perfectly okay. There's no need to rush the message. It'll reveal itself in divine timing. Thank your inner guidance for the wisdom and affirm, I welcome miracles into my life. And now it's time to release all of the beautiful, radiant energy back up to the sky and thank your higher presence for reminding you of your brilliance. Take a slow, long, deep breath in through your nose and exhale through your mouth. You're coming back into the present moment. When you're ready, gently wriggle your feet, legs, shoulders, and neck. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Thank you. And it is done.
Thank you, Merryn. Wow. That was really powerful, and I wonder what messages people heard through that. I'm sure people were whispered some really important things by their inner guides. Thank you so much for leading us through that.
You're welcome. I hope the listeners enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be a lot of rewinding and playing it again as well. Thank you so much for being with us. Is there anything that you'd like to say as we finish our conversation?
I just think that self-care is so important, and, the more it refuels us, and the more that you can give yourself self-care and identifying what you need, it really helps develop a bit of a rhythm, and especially for hospo people, long nights, crazy hours, adrenaline pumping, cortisol just streaming, which is the stress hormone. The more we can bring it back and give yourself self-care, even if it's just 5 minutes in nature where you've got your bare feet on the earth and just breathing and even looking at the sky, looking at the trees, just an ability to ground yourself. It really helps fight inflammation, which happens when stress hormone is released for extended periods of time. And, knowing myself how busy service is, and how, some people really thrive on it, but I can only imagine the inflammation that's going on for people in their gut, and just with all the cortisol releasing and the adrenaline system pumping all the time, we need to bring it back to like that self-care soothing for well-being, really.
Very, very good words, very timely, and a great reminder for people you're not doing your business or the people around you any favours if you don't prioritise your own well-being.
Absolutely.
Merryn, it's just been a real pleasure to have you on the show, something very different for the listeners, but I'm sure it's been really appreciated. Thank you so much for sharing your story and your wisdom with us today.
You're so welcome. Thanks for the opportunity.
This is Dirty Linen, and I'm Dani Valent. We air the issues that the hospitality industry finds hard to talk about. We spend a week thrashing around each issue, hearing from different people with unique perspectives. We want to hear from you as well. If you have something that needs to be said about a topic, get in touch so we can include your perspective. Contact us at dirtylinen@deepintheweeds.com.au or hit us up on Insta at Dirty Linen Podcast. We can't wait to hear from you.
This is a Deep in the Weeds production.